Okay, here's a part two about the argument atheists have. And this is coming from me, who I used to be an atheist the majority of my life, 25 years or more, 27. I'm a logical person, and I believe in science. Maybe not in the way that you're interpreting, but here we go. Here's my rebuttal, because someone asked me to provide proof that God existed. Basically, and I'm paraphrasing and adding my own, if I don't know what I'm talking about, unless I have proof that God exists, stop talking about God, right? Okay. Prove to me God doesn't exist. Prove to me your theories. If you're an atheist, like I was, there's evolution, right? Yet there is not a single transitional fossil of any species. There should be hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands, millions of transitional species between each species line throughout the millennia, as the evolution speaks. This evolution was debunked a long time ago because there is no fossils and no transitional species. Can't have evolution without a transitional species. Sorry. So that's scientifical proof. Scientific proof. There you go. Failed to prove it there. When it comes to like nothing, the Big Bang Theory, let's just say everything was the Big Bang and blew up. There has to be a beginning particle, correct? Let's just say there wasn't any physical particles. Let's say there was no physical mass of any type. No atoms, no quarks, no electrons, protons, neutrons, nothing, none of that. Let's just hypothesize for a second. Hypothetically speaking, let's say there's a different dimension and there's like this invisible force in a different dimension. And inside this dimension, there's another invisible force, dark matter, whatever you want to call it. And let's just say those two opposing forces meet each other by crossing over a dimension, and they had a violent reaction and thus produced matter. Where'd those forces come from? You can't say they're always there. That makes it omnipotent. That makes it divine. If a force exists before time and for eternity, it is omnipotent. It cannot exist without a creator. Rewind time as far back as you want. Logic states from a scientific standpoint that you cannot create and have physical matter. I'm talking about quarks, atoms, neutrons, protons, electrons. You cannot have these physical substances that can be measured from nothing. Even if you do find your force, and there was another force introduced which caused matter to create, that your end product, you have to rewind time even further where the force came from. And don't get me wrong, scientists may find out how everything comes together. I fully believe we will. How like the inner workings of an atom is, quarks, why quarks work the way they work, and that type of periodic table. You see things like that. And I tell you what, the scientists will keep looking further and further and further, trying to figure out where that force came from. And guess what? I don't care what equation you come out to. No equation, this, and this, where zero came about with everything. Gotta have a creator. Excuse me, my wife is texting me while I'm doing this video, which will probably make it staticky, but that's okay. You have to understand there has to be a creator. You can't have physical matter from a logical standpoint and a rational mind. Can't have matter from nothing. I don't care who you are. All your theories, look back, they're all theories. None of them's been proven. The only difference is my theory has not an excuse, but it has a definition and a story of why and how. It explains everything. Yet I'm the irrational one. When my beliefs give a reasoning for why there's physical matter now, and all throughout the history and storyline. of the world and everything, all put together in one book. Yet there's scientists that can't explain this or can't explain that. Yet I'm the irrational one. But I like a good debate, though. Don't get me wrong. I like a good debate. I like having someone oppose my views. It gives me a reason to talk about it and maybe convince that person to see it from my point. They can try to convince me. I invite them. I invite all the atheists and agnostics and everybody else, Satanists, you name it, Buddhists, bring them all. Try to convince me that your way is better or your way is right versus mine. I invite it. I have an open mind. I do. I'm willing to accept things. But yet, to this date, I have been shown no proof from the scientific community. Nothing. Not a single piece. Not a shred of evidence. And here's another thing. No logic behind it. How can you have evolution if there's no transitional species? Not a single one. Yet there should be millions. Well, this is my part 2. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment down below if you feel like debating it more. I invite it. Believe me. If you can convince me otherwise, with facts. Prove to me God doesn't exist by proving your theory is correct. Because otherwise, me and you may just be debating our own theories and our own ideologies. And in that case, I'm right on my standpoint, you're right on your standpoint, and we will get nowhere with each other. And that's when we part ways as friends. Because I hold no grudges. Have a blessed day.